This conference will now be recorded.
Good morning, friends. Welcome to goonlinetrainings.com. So, from today, we'll be talking about one more interesting topic. So, that is uh, control flow containers, grouping and looping. So, this is what we're going to be, discussing from today. So, when you go to the control flow again, you have common tasks, and below you have containers, right? For loop container, for each loop container, and we have a sequence container. So today I'm talking about these containers. It is very, very important. Clear? Let me take a new package. So let us do some demo on containers, right? So what are containers? Why we have to use containers? What is the purpose of loops? And all of them we're going to be discussing now. Let us go back and see. There are three containers in SSIS. One is called sequence container. So sequence container is similar to folder in Windows. So why you create a folder in Windows? To store group of files, right? So why sequence container is used? It is to similar to folder. It groups the task and then sequence them if you wanted to have it. For example, I go sequence container, I go to the control flow. I wanted to do some activities. For example, I would like to do bulk insert activity, execute package task, expression task, FTP task, file system task. I wanted to have one data flow task, one more execute SQL task, like that. I have a lot of tasks are available. I wanted to, execute a group by group. If I wanted to execute a task by task, for example, I wanted to execute this, later this, I can create a link between this. After this, I wanted to execute like this. After this, I would like to execute this. After this, I would like to execute this. So you can just simply go here and take this like this. And after this, I wanted to execute this. After this, I can execute like this. So here, you are going to be executing first, then this, then this, then this. So you're going to be sequencing them. You're going to be sequencing them by putting a arrow mark, by putting the link like this. But I don't want to create link one task by one task. I wanted to create a group. I would like to create a two groups. I have to execute first group, then the second group. So that is how I would like to create a group by group execution. Try to understand. For that purpose, I wanted to perform group by group execution. So for that purpose, I'm going to be using a sequence container. What is a sequence container? Which is a folder. So within the folder, you can have lot of activities, lot of tasks, and you can sequence however you wanted to sequence. Let me go back, and I have to go here and use sequence container. Okay, this is a folder. You think like this. You cannot do anything. Simply what you do, you take the task and put it here. You take the task, put it here. You take the task, put it here. This is, you can say, you can give a some name. So this is loading, let us say, dimension tables. Okay. So you are going to be loading all the dimension table to the data warehousing. So what you do, you load the dimension table data. When all dimension table loaded, then what you do? So you think these are the things which are going to load the data of the fact tables. So what you do, you take and you keep one by one. Okay, all of them you can keep like this. Let me take this. So here I'm going to be loading, let us say, loading the fact tables. Now we know always whenever you load the data to the data warehouse, okay. So whether you know, you don't know, I don't know, but let me tell you this point. Okay, when you have a data warehouse, so data warehouse concepts are going to be starting next week, and so always there is a question here. How do you load the data to data warehousing? Okay. So this is one question in the interview you will get. How do you load the data to the data warehousing? So you should tell them that first load the data into the dimension tables. Okay. Later, remember this. Okay, you need to later load the data into the fact tables. Right? Why do we need to do like this? If they ask why should we do like this? Because because dimension tables will have primary keys and the fact tables will have what? Foreign keys. Because when you create a primary key and foreign key relationship, if you know SQL Server very well, the primary key table has to get the data. For example, there is a department table. Department ID you have and a department name I have. This is one, department name is sales. Two is, let us say, accounts department. Now in this is the primary key, right? Which is the primary key in this? The primary key table is called this one and the department ID is called a primary key. Okay. Now you create one more table called employee table. Employee ID name, let me know what is the department ID for this guy. Now here you have, this is a primary key and this is what is called a foreign key. Now the employee, first employee is called John. The employee number, let us say 1001. His name is John. He is working for department number 2. So when you enter 2 here, what happens? When you enter 2 here, SQL Server is going to be verifying whether 2 exists or not. So when you create a primary key and a foreign key link here, when you insert the data into the foreign key table, SQL Server is going to be verifying, do we have 2 here? Is it 2? No. Is it 2? Yes. If there is a value called 2, then only this row will get executed and it will get inserted. Let me insert 1002, say Kamal, and I give a department number is 3. Now it SQL Server or Oracle is going to be taking this. Is it 3? No. Is it 3? No. If this value does not exist in this, because there is a primary key and a foreign key, if the value does not exist, this value will not get inserted here. This value will not get inserted because the foreign key table always refers the primary key table. If the primary key table doesn't have any data, then there is a waste of time to inserting the data. It will not get loaded because every time it will go and check. So when you are loading the data in the dimension table, if this is what is called a dim employee table, and this is the dimension table, there is a factor table where the foreign keys you have. So when you check the value here and the same value does not exist in this table, then definitely this not be successful. So always load the dimension tables, because these are going to be having a primary key and the factor tables are going to be having a foreign key. So this is a factor table, you think like this. This is some sales table or some other table. So you're going to be having a foreign key. The data has to come here. If you don't have any data and try to load the data to the factor table, then it will fail. Clear? So dimension tables will have a primary keys and fact table will have a foreign keys. And whenever you insert the data to the foreign keys, it is going to be going to the primary key table and verifying whether you have the same data or not in this. Clear? So that is the reason why you have to load the data into the dimension table. So now how do you load all the data? So you may have a bulk insert to 1. Okay. Let me take a execute SQL, sorry, not execute SQL task. Let me take a data flow task. Let me take another data flow task. You can have much more data flow tasks, right? You can take much more data flow tasks. So this task maybe, let us rename this. So this is loading the data, loading, first department table, or you can say loading loading, we say dimension department table. This is loading, okay? Loading dimension, let us say employee table. So this is loading dimension, let us say product table. Like that. So all these are independent tables. You should be able to load the data like this. After loading the data, what you do, after loading all the three tables, you have to start a arrow mark and put it here. So here you have a, let me take this and simply go there and give. Okay. Now, all of them are parallel in this. When you execute the package, now this one, these are parallel activities, but these are going to be finished. Then what you're doing, you're loading the data. What is the factor table you have? Load fact, let us say sales table. This is one table you're loading. The second table, what you're loading, let us say fact, okay? Fact, there is a one more table called premium table. Okay, so load fact premium table. Clear? You may be loading the data. You may be loading the data here. So let us rename. So load, let us say fact. It is not dimension table. Fact discounts or fact expenses table. Clear? Now, what will happen if I execute the package? All these are parallel. So here, everything will get executed parallel. And once everything is done, then these are executed parallel. So you are loading total 6 tables, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3 here. But group by group execution, group by group execution, you go and at the department table, you connect to the department table, load the data, you go back, double click on this. Like that you have all the six data flows are available. You will be able to go to this and drag and drop a source, drag and drop a destination, and this is going to load the data. Now double click on this. Now drag and drop a source and destination, you will be loading the data. So all the data flows can be there. And here I wanted to have a group by group execution, not a task by task execution. So this is where you can include what is called as a sequence container. Sequence container is not going to sequence anything. Remember, if you don't put this arrow mark and if you try to execute, all these are parallel, right? To understand, sequence container has a name of sequence that you have to sequence. It is not going to sequence anything if you don't put arrow mark like this. So what happens if you don't have like this? Everything is parallel. This is parallel. This is parallel. Everything is parallel. Even this is parallel. Sequence container is not going to sequence anything sequential. Sequentially, it is not going to be executing anything. Remember this point forever. Many people think that if I put something here, so this is going to be sequencing. This is the first one. This is the second one. This is the third one, and this is the next one. This is the fourth one, fifth one, sixth one. It is not like that. So if you wanted to execute one by one, you need to take this arrow mark and say, in this also, if you wanted to execute one by one, so you can put like this. So after this, this one will get executed and this will get executed simultaneously. So after this is executed, this will execute and parallelly this would have executed, and these are executed once everything is done. Am I clear? So sequence container is used to group the individual acts, individual tasks. Apart from that, you don't have anything else. So that is the point. So it is similar to a folder. It groups the tasks and then sequence them if you wanted to have. The next one is for loop container. Condition is known at the design time. For each loop container, condition is unknown at the design time. So you have two more loops which are available, for loop container and for each loop container. Guys, am I clear? So you have a for loop and for each loop container. So this is what I'm going to be explaining now. Now, Let us have one simple requirement. Yesterday, somebody asked, so I'm going to get daily only one file, so I can take only one data flow and get the data and dump it to the destination. But now customer says that every day or every week, I'm going to be dumping not only one file, I'm going to be dumping three files. Then what you do? Or 3000 files, what you do? So if the customer is giving you 3000 files every week, okay, that means I'm sure that I'm going to be getting 3000 files. So the condition is known. I have to start at the one and till 3000, I have to run a loop. Clear? So if you wanted to run a loop, so that loop is called as a for loop container. So already you know loops, right? Loop means repeatedly you do some activity. You take first file, second file, third file, fourth file, fifth file. So data you take continuously, and the customer is going to be giving a 3000 file every week or every month, every day. So to know how many times we have to run the loop, the customer is clearly saying at the time of creating a requirement document, it is clearly telling I'll give you 3000 files every week. So you have to run the loop for 3000 times. But customer may tell you, I may give you 3000 files in this week. Next week, I may give you 5000 files. After that, I may give you 100 files. After that, I may give you these many files. So I'm not sure how many files I'm giving you, but I'll give you every Sunday or every Monday. So whatever it is. So every Sunday, every Saturday, I may give you these many files, but how many files I'm going to be giving you that I don't know. So if this is the case, the condition is unknown to run the loop. So that is when we have to use for each loop container, right? The for each loop container it should be used. The condition is unknown. Condition is means what? Condition is means how many times I have to run the loop, whether 3000 times, 5000 times, 100 times. This one sometimes in will not give anything, zero times. So no data comes one weekend. They say Corona, everything is closed. Last week I could not get any sales. It is zero files next week. So what happens? You have to bear with that, right? But if you don't know how many times I should run the loop, that is means the condition is unknown, right? So if that is the case, go in for each loop. If the condition knows, if you know that every month I'm going to be getting so these many files, that is where you're going to be using for loop. For loop means we're going to be knowing the condition clearly. What is the condition? Every week 3000 files per week or per month, whatever it is. I'm going to be giving you this number is not going to change. If condition is known, if that is the case, you have to use for loop container. And if you don't know condition, the customer is unclear. I may give you 3000 files today. Tomorrow I may give you 1500 files. I don't know. Clear? Every week I'm going to be giving it to you, and but not the number. Number wise, I'm not very clear. So you have to run the loop for each file available in your source. Am I clear? Sometimes there are a couple of examples. So when I was working with Microsoft, we have three servers. So I have to loop through all these servers and get the data. I have some sales table in server 1, and I have one more sales table in server 2. I have the sales table in the server 3. So I have to run the loop for 3 times because I have 3 servers, and three servers are the sales tables. So one is in Dubai, one is in, let us say, India, one is in America. Sales of Dubai is available in Dubai server. Sales of India, Singapore, all the Asian countries sales is available in India server. The American countries data is available in the America server. So all the data from server 1, server 2, server 3, only the table called sales table, I should take it and I have to dump it to the destination. So here the server names are different, right? So you need to browse through or loop through the server names. The connections itself is different. Server is the IP address 192.0.1.1, then 1.2, 1.5, 1.17, and when you go, the tables are same, but the server names are different, you need to dynamically connect it to the servers and get clear. So there are plenty, pretty, some lot of examples in the real time. So where you have to get the data always, not only from the single file, you will be able to receive the data from the multiple files. Okay. So that is what is the important point that we got to understand from today. For loop is, it is similar to loops of any language. It will run, repeat the task for fixed number of times. You know the condition. 3000 times I should run the loop. 100 times I should run the loop. You know the condition already. So the data flow is going to be repeating for each file available in the source folder. And for each loop is, it is a loop, but when we do not know how many times we need to run the loop, you don't know the condition, right? Loop is executed for each object or file, the server exists in your premise or in the environment. Clear? So let us do small demos on for loop and for each loop. So sequence container, you don't have anything. Sequence container only grouping something. So if you wanted to group, simply take the sequence container, drag and drop sequence container, and you can just place the individual activities like this. Clear? So now I wanted to run a small loop. Okay. Then we will discuss how to get the data from the 3000 files and load into a SQL table. Let me have demo on for loop. So hope you know what is a loop, right? So looping means I have to do an activity repeatedly. So if you learn any language, C, C++, Java, .NET, Python, they're going to be teaching you for loop, or they'll teach what is called as a while loops. These are the loops we have. Okay. But for loop, while loop, we don't have while loop, we have only for loop. Okay. So when you going for loop, so what are the things that you need to have it? First one is that initialization, where you wanted to start the loop. Initialize the value. The second one is called condition. The third one is called increment or decrement. So these are the three things, if you know, you should be able to run the loop. Clear? Let me open Paint. Sorry. Let me open Paint and tell you, whenever you learn C or C++, any language, these people are going to be teaching you loops. Any loop, let us say for loop or any loop, it is going to be having three parameters to be configured. Okay, parameter number one, parameter number two, parameter number three. So the parameter number is, the first one is called initialization. The second one is called condition. The third one is called increment or decrement. So here, this is initialize the value. That is the first one. The second one is called condition. Okay. Every loop will have. The third one is called increment, or it can be decrement as well. So how do you start the loop? Anywhere, not only in SSIS, anywhere you have to create a loop by creating a variable first. So what we do, we have to declare a variable. So any variable, whether you create in SSIS or anywhere, all variables are declared where? All variables are declared in the RAM only, not in the hard disk. Any variable, whether in SSIS and .NET, SQL Server, any variable is going to be declared in the RAM, in your memory. If you wanted to do, you have to declare one variable. So let me say, declare a value called X. This is integer. Okay. So X is an integer. Now you have to give some value. Set at the rate X value equals to 0. So what happens now? In the RAM, you will be able to get a variable. The variable name is called at the rate x, and the value is equals to 0. Now, this is how in SQL Server we're going to be declaring. Okay. SQL Server, we're going to be declaring like this, and the same variable is available in the RAM. But how in SSIS? That I have already declared. I had shown you how to create a variable. Let me go to SSIS. Now, I have taken a one demo. Now, I wanted to create a variable. How to declare a variable? Go here and you say, click on this and you say X. You should not write at the rate X. Remember this point. So you should not write it. Simply say X. You should not write at the rate X in SSIS. So it is invalid. Clear? So, but in SQL Server, you have to always say like this: declare at the rate X integer, and you say set at the rate X is equals to 10. So what is the meaning? Or 1. So when you say like this, it's going to be declared. Where it's going to be declared? In your RAM. So this is the SQL Server syntax. You must have X here. If you don't have X here, it is not going to work. It will tell you integer blah blah blah. It is telling me this is invalid function. Why? Because X is missing. Sorry, at the rate is missing. Clear? So this is the syntax in SQL Server. But now here you should not put at the rate X, simply X. X is a variable which is integer. So the value is 0. Now in SQL Server, we say set at the rate X equals to 0. So this is how we assign the data, but here this is how we assign the data. So this is the data type, and this is the data type. This is the name. This is the name. Clear? So this is how in SSIS I have declared a variable. Perfectly fine. Now what I do? So already it is having a 0. Clear? So because I have declared not in the here, I have declared in SSIS now. So one variable I have declared, the value is x now. Okay, that's what you need to understand, which is integer, and the value is 0. The value is already there. Now what I'm trying to do when you start the loop, I have to say at the rate x value is equals to 1. So whatever be the value that you have, forget about it. Now I am giving you value 1. So when the loop starts, this 0, it was already there. It is overwritten by 1. Clear? So you will be able to give 1. But remember, you are declaring without, at the rate symbol. But when you're using here, you need to use at the rate compulsorily. Remember this. At the time of declaring, I did not use at the rate. But when I'm using a loop, so where is my loop? Let me go. This is my loop. Okay. For loop container, I double click on this. The first one, init expression. So this is what is called a initialization. Okay. So here we are saying init expression that is there. So this is what is called your initialization. So here, how do I do that? I need to say at the rate x is equals to 1. So that is what you need to give. Initialize the value. Now, what is the value? Because of this, x value will become 1. Now, what is the condition? The condition is how many times I should run the loop? Let us say 10 times. So you say at the rate x is less than or equals to 10. That means what? I have to run the loop. This expression, I need to give it in the second place. That is eval expression. Remember this. Okay. The second one is called a condition here, but according to this, this is what is called eval expression. Clear? So this is evaluate expression. This is what is the second one. I had given this kind of a logic at the rate x is equivalent to less than or equals to 10. The next one is called increment or decrement. I have to say at the rate x is equivalent to x plus 1. So this is what is called increment and decrement. So this is we are also giving. Here it is called as a assign expression. That's it. There are three things which are available in SSIS, but the same thing is available in your normal loops also. So this is the SSIS way of calling. This is the normal loop. Whenever you run the loop, there are three things to understand: initialization, condition, increment or decrement. Now the loop starts. Loop always starts in this first. Okay. Loop always starts where? Loop is always going to be starting in this only. This is the first one will get executed when you start loop. First one. So whatever be the value, that initial value 0, now it is removed and you put 1 here, that is fine. Now what I'm trying to do, I wanted to take, let me have at the rate x is equivalent to at the rate x plus 1. What is the meaning? The meaning is whatever be the x value is equals to 1, 1 plus 1, that 2 you have to place it into the x. So x equals to x plus 1 means whatever be the value you have, you need to increment by 1. X value is equals to 2, 2 plus 1, 3. X value will become 3. So that is the meaning of this. This is incrementing by 1. Incrementing by 2 means you need to say plus 2. Incrementing by 3 means plus 3. Like that, you have to increment the data. Clear? So that's what you need to understand. Any loops will have only these three things. Now, if the condition is true, this is will get executed. If the condition is true, this is my condition. So it may be true or it may be false as well, right? So here we are going to be getting two things. One is true, the other one is false. If the condition is true, you do some action, any kind of an action. You dance, you sing, you insert the data, you delete the data, you do some action. If the condition is false, you stop or you exit the loop. That's it. Okay. If the condition is true, you have to do this. If the condition is false, you need to exit the loop. That's it. Nothing else. If the condition is true, you have done something after action. After this action, what you have to do, you have to go here and start incrementing the data. Okay, after the condition is over, if the condition is true, we are going to be doing some action. After the action, what I'm going to be doing, I am incrementing the value. Then after that, what will happen? It is going to go and execute this. Remember this. Okay, from here, then it is going to be going here. So this portion is going to be looped. Remember this. So only one time this portion is going to be executed. So this is only one time. Then later continuously we are working with this loop only. What is that? Condition, then action, then increment. Clear? So these are the three things that you have to know. What are they? Condition, action, increment or decrement. Okay, these three are continuously will get executed. Initialization is not going to execute at all. It is only one time job. First time you open the bottle, Coca-Cola bottle, and you keep on drinking, opening the bottle only once. You just open it, right? Then keep on drinking. So only once you open it, then you need to drink the water or whatever it is. You cannot close it. So that is how the bottle is manufactured. So however you wanted to run the loop, it is only one time initialization is done. The next condition action increment is going to be executed. Let me do one small demo. What I do, I create one table, a table, let us say nums. Okay, it is going to be having only one value id, and which is integer. I don't have any other column, only one column. Let me execute. So let us say select star from the table name. Table name is this. Okay. Now, how do I insert the data? Inserting is very, very simple. Insert into values. Now, first value 1. I'll insert like this. Now I wanted to insert one more value, 2, 3, 4, like that. I have to write 2 and insert the value. Can I do insert like this? If I wanted to insert 1,000 numbers or 10,000 numbers, if I insert manually, I go mad. So I wanted to create a loop and insert 10,000 numbers. Okay. So what is the demo we are going to be doing? Insert 10,000, okay, numbers in this table. You should not insert with the help of this syntax, because if you put 1, 2, 3, it'll go mad. So what I'm trying to do for inserting data, what I'm trying to do here, I take executes equal task and I run this multiple times. Okay. I go double click on executes equal task, go to the connection. Let me create a new connection. Server name is dot. I go stage company. Now, if I take this one, it is going to be inserting only one row. Always it's going to be inserting one because I have given one. But dynamically, I have to pass the value. If I wanted to give dynamically, you need to put question mark. I told you this. If you wanted to do something dynamically, you put a question mark, right? But the question mark is available in the 0 position, right? So this is available in the 0th position. So you have to map some variable here. So that is what I'm going to be mapping. So what I'm trying to map, I'm giving the question mark. So I would like to do the parameter mapping. I have created one variable. What is it variable I have created? Click on add. The variable I have created is X, right? So this is what I'm going to be mapping it to this fellow, and long, or you can say numeric, and the parameter size is -1. -1 means whatever be the size of the X, doesn't matter, you take it. So I'm mapping X to this guy. Okay, so what will happen? So here I have mapped. So what is that I have mapped? I have mapped X. So whatever be the X value, that is going to come here. So it is mapped to the 0th column. Clear? X value is going to be getting inserted. So that is what I had done. This is my action. So what is the action? The action is I'm inserting some data. So you can say this is your action. Action is inserting some data here. Okay. Let us execute what happens. If I'm executing, let me delete all the data from this table. Now you don't have any data, you have deleted. Now I had given something dynamic here, so that we have done. So if X value will become 1, already I have declared X value will become 1. That is what is the execution charge here. If the X is less than or equals to 10, so the first it will be 0, then it will be 1. If the X value less than or equals to 10, the condition, this is the condition going to be carried out. What is X now? X is 1. 1 is greater than, less than or equals to 10, true. If it is true, what is action? Action is I'm inserting. What I'm inserting? Insert into this the question mark. Question mark means X. So what happens now? Whatever be the X value is now available 1 in the RAM. So 1 will get inserted. This statement will get inserted. Clear? And you will be able to get one row because this action is done. Then immediately X value will become 2. So it removes 1. It is going to be putting it 2 because of the increment. X is 1, 1 plus 1 equals to 2. 2 will get added there. Am I clear? Now, after the increment is done, I am telling you again condition is check. What is the condition? At the rate X, what is X value now? 2. 2 is less than equals to 10, true. Then again it is going to come an action. What is the action now? Now, whatever be the X value is now 2. 2 is going to be replaced because whatever be the X value that is going to come here. Now 2 is going to be getting inserted. Now, after the action, then it is going to be having a 3. Like that, 3 will come. The last number, the 10 is going to be coming. For example, you have inserted 9 and 10. The last number is 10. So 10 you have also inserted. Then afterwards, 10 will become 11. 10 will become 11 here. And after this condition, x less than or equals to 10, it will become false condition. When false is there, the exit will happen, the loop will stop. So you will be able to get 10 numbers in your database. Clear? So increment will happen, then the condition will fail. So that's how the things would happen. Let me execute this and show you. I don't have any data. Save and try to execute it. So it is executing repeatedly. So repeatedly, which is executing, total time it has taken 656 milliseconds. Stop this, you go back and you check. These are the numbers. I have it 10 numbers. If I wanted to insert 10,000 numbers, simply I have to go double click on this. You put a 10,000 here. That's it. And delete all the data once again. Now I don't have any data. Now I wanted to execute this. So who's looping now? It is a continuously inserting. It is not a blinking, but is continuously inserting. You can simply go and verify how many numbers it got inserted. As of now, 375 numbers are got inserted. Now we executed. Total 557 numbers got executed. You can see it is still happening. Continuously it is inserting the data. This is the looping. Clear? It will take some time to load the or implement the or insert the data like this. So, am I clear? So looping is pretty much simple. Now, when you have the data in the file, how do you get the data and how do you load the data from the file?
Does it take
So
so
that is
long
what is the
normally?
next demo. It is taking 10,000, right? 10,000, it is taking almost, okay, it is taking more than 1 minute. Clear? So let it run. So don't worry about it. It is going to be inserting the data like this. So as of now, it is inserted only 2,478 rows. Guys, am I clear? If you wanted to write SQL code for looping, so I told you, you have to declare one variable at the rate x integer and set at the rate x is equals to 1 or 0, whatever it is. It is the initialization. Okay, it is init value or initialization. The second one, you need to start writing the loop. SQL Server doesn't have a for loop. You have to write the while loop. While condition you need to write here. What is the condition? At the rate x is less than or equals to 1,000 or 10,000. You have to say begin and end. So this is the SQL Server syntax. What we are going to be doing. So here the same thing I'm going to be doing. Control C, Control V. This is the action I need to give at the rate X. And this is the action, right? So this is action I'm doing. After action, I have to do increment or decrement. So set at the rate X is equivalent to at the rate X plus 1. So this is the complete syntax of the SQL. So this is the initialization, this is the condition, action, and increment. Clear? So if you execute, so at the rate, so this is the looping from here to if you execute, it is going to be inserting 1,000 rows. Why? Because condition is 1,000. So let me check whether everything is done or not. It's still executing. It is a bit slow. So now it is inserted 7,027 I think 7,273 rows got inserted. Now let us verify some much time. It has taken more than 1-2 minutes, I think. You can see the complete time after execution. We can see in the progress bar. So at the end, we'll get it. Let us wait. Now it is completely busy doing these things. Now it is inserted 8,849. It is
Normally,
inserted
SQL is fast.
9,047. Pardon?
Normally, SQL is quite fast.
So which
Yeah,
one is
now it is
faster?
doing with the SSIS. Yeah. So now it is giving you, sorry. Let us verify. So this is a programming, right? Incrementing doing SSIS will be slow. SSIS will be faster to loading the original data. It will be slow doing this kind of things. Okay. It has taken so much of a time. Now it is done. You're able to see now when you go back, it is almost done. Okay. Because you're able to see 10,000 records. Then I think it is done. Now, how much time it has taken? Let me stop this and go back to execution results. Total time it has taken 4 minutes 27. Okay, looping is not so good here. So let me have the same 10,000 records. Let us execute with the help of this fellow. Okay. So how much time it is going to be taking? We'll verify. Let me delete all the data once again. Loopings and everything using SSIS is pretty much, slow, pretty slow there. I don't have any data. Let me execute this guy. Okay, so you can see the time here. So what is the time it is taking? Let me execute. How much time it has taken? Execution is done. You can see the data here. Okay, it is executing lot of data. You can see the last number. The last number is 10,000. Total 10,000 records it got inserted. Now this is quite fast. Okay, so programmings are always faster for the looping and everything than the SSIS. SSIS is not meant for the looping, right? It will be a bit slow. Now this is a program if you wanted to write. Okay, so you can take the complete program. What you do, so instead of you doing complete loop, let me delete this. Let me have executes equal task here. Let me right click on this and have the same program there. Okay, you open here, you're going to be creating a loop like this. Okay, this will get executed and it's going to be inserting the data. So this is also one more thing that you can do it. So you do not have a loop at all. Execute equal task is doing the complete looping because the same syntax you have copy and pasted there. Clear? Now this also you can use it there. Let me delete all numbers and I don't have any data. So loop you have deleted because this is very, very slow. Let me take and try to execute this. No. So now it is faster. So now even if you take SSIS executes equal task and it is faster than the looping. So you better use like this if you want to have the numbers in this. Clear? You can see the last number is a 10,000 numbers. It has taken only 2 seconds or 3 seconds. Am I clear? So you can use like this without taking this loop container. So only for implementing loops and everything. Okay, that's fine. But now the next one I wanted to implement is that I wanted to have get the data from all flat files. The customer may be giving 1,000 files, 2,000 files, 5,000 files, does not know. They will be giving like this: employee one, employee two, employee three. So, or they may give employee Switzerland, employee New Zealand, employee India, employee America, like that. 3,000 files, 5,000 files, 100 files will be given. You have to take the data from all the flat files and dump into a data warehousing. Before data warehousing, all the data has to go to staging. Clear? So get the data from the all flat files and load into SQL or do load into staging. Create many text files as you wish. Each file contains a different data but same structure. If you cannot have employee data, you cannot merge with the patient data. So that is not the case. If you're looping means the columns and everything has to be the same. But only thing is that you're going to be having data from different countries. Employee of India, employee of America, employee of New Zealand. So all the Amazon company's employees data, same columns will be available throughout the Amazon. Employee ID, employee name, salary, tax, everything, right? So I would like to dump like this. Each file contains different data, but same structure. Columns are same. I wanted to repeat the data flow task for each file available in the source folder. Clear? That is what I'm going to be doing now. Let me take a new package. So demo, which is called as a for each loop. Okay. Now what I do, I wanted to take first for each loop container. So because I have a couple of files here, so let me create a couple of files. Okay, let me take these files, copy these files. Let me go to Amazon folder. Let me have these files here. Okay, so employee Bangalore, I have some data here, and employee Chennai, I have some data here. Employee Hyderabad, I have some data here, right? Employee UK, I have some data there. Employee US, I have some data there. And employee Delhi, I have a folder, I have some data here. So like that, we can have a different data. Let us change these values. Okay. Let me have Mukta here. And let me have Padmaja here. And let me have the proper data. And I have modified this Delhi data. Now let me take employee data. Now I wanted to have some new data. Let us say Sairam, and I have, let us say, Srujana, and let us say Tisso. Like that, we have different guys. We have Yashoda, right? So, and we have, let us say, Ravina. Like that, I have some data. I have given, and I have Hassan, and let us say Maunika. Like that, I had given, I'm modifying the data in this as well. So let me have some modifications here as well. Let me say, so here I'm going to be having Emmanuel, right? So let me have male, and let us change this data. So this is female, and we have Chandni. For the testing purpose, I'm giving changing only few things here. Let me close this as well. Let me go to Hyderabad data, and let me say Durga Prasad, and we have Kishan. right? And we have a lot of other people's data may be there, right? So you may be having some other data. So I have modified. Let me modified UK. Let me have UK. Let us have John K. Right? And the US. Let me take some other data. Let us say Obama. And let us have Peter. Some data I'm just modifying it. Let me delete this data. And this is my date. Okay, I have modified and everywhere I have modified, right? So here we have Mukta and Padmaja and everything is fine. Now I wanted to take the data from this folder, and the folder also has one more folder. I would like to take the data from subfolders as well and dump the data and create one nice this one. Clear? So when you double click on this, you need to drag and drop for each loop because we don't know. You may get 5 files today. Tomorrow you may get 5,000 files. So you don't know how many files will be available. Double click on this. Go to collection. There is enumerator. So this is the guy who's going to be looping through. Clear? There is enumerator here called for each item enumerator, for each file enumerator, for each ADO enumerator, for each ADO.NET enumerator, from variable enumerator, node set enumerator, SMO enumerator, HDFC file enumerator. If you wanted to loop through something, you need to choose appropriate enumerator. Clear? Which is going to be looping through. I wanted to loop through all the files. So this is the one you have to loop through. For example, you have 10 Excel files, or you have 10 XML files, or you have 20 flat files, or you have thousands of CSV files. Whatever be the file that you wanted to loop through, you have to use for each file enumerator. Clear? So sometimes I wanted to enumerate files only, but specific files I wanted to enumerate, not all files. I would like to have a collection, but not complete collection. I wanted to have a selection in the collection. For example, I have 10 people. I don't need all 10 files. I need files. If the file name is employee underscore India, I need the file. If the file name is employee underscore Dubai, I don't need employee underscore Japan, employee underscore New Zealand. No. Even though you have 10 files, but I wanted to take only selected files. I wanted to filter in the complete files. So that is where we are going to be using. The next one is called, the first one is called for each item. The item name you can specify. For example, I would like to verify employee underscore New Zealand is there, take the file and get the data. Employee underscore Dubai, if it is there, go and get the data. You can specify the file names. You can hard code it, or you can also write expressions here. Dynamically, we can create an expression. If the file name is with this timestamp, get the file. So something like this also, you should be able to write. Go to columns and say add one column. Say here, what is the file name? If I have employee underscore Dubai.txt, you take. If the file name is employee underscore Japan, you get this file. Like that, you can give the name of the files. If you have only those files, it will get picked up. Clear? If that is the case, we are going to be using this for each item enumerator. So otherwise, you can simply remove. So now I wanted to go here and take all the files. It could be Excel file, XML file, or raw file, whatever be the file it is taking. I would like to loop through all the files. That is the thing. Now, you go where are your data? You have to go to your data folder. I told you D drive, Amazon. So this is where I have my data. Now if I put star dot star, all the files it's going to be looping through. Text files, Excel files, this file, that file, everything will get looped through. But I cannot have different files. I would like to have star dot txt files only. If you have Excel file there, don't take Excel, because if I take Excel, the source must be Excel source, not the flat file source. If I'm reading XML and the source must be XML, destination is common for everybody. But I don't want to have a all Excel files, or I don't want to take it any file. I would like to take purely .txt files. Even though you have Excel file, it is not going to be taken. Now choose fully qualified path. Complete path is going to be taken. Traverse subfolders, folder inside a folder, inside a folder, inside a folder. Wherever the text files are available, it is going to be taking. Clear? Now I wanted to have a variable to create a connection dynamically. So what I would like to have it here, I would like to create one variable. The variable is called, what is the path? File path. Okay. Now, which is a string, click on OK. I'm going to be creating a file path. Now, whatever with the file, it is a touching, fully qualified path, it is touching. The file path I'm going to be storing in this variable. So I need one variable if you wanted to dynamically loop through something. Clear? So these are the things you have to configure it. Let me show you. Very simple, not less than 5 seconds you can configure. See now, let me delete and show you one by one. Drag and drop for each loop. Now double click on this. Go to collection. Use for each file enumerator. Now go to your folder. Where is the data? So go to D, Amazon. Now I don't need everything txt. I need fully qualified. Traverse subfolders. Go to variable mapping. Now you say, if you have already variable, you can use already we have created that is available. You can drag and drop. Otherwise, you create one. Click on OK. That's it. You did not take not even 10 seconds to configure. That's it. What now? It is going to be looped through in the files if you have. But okay, looping is happening. But whatever it is looping, that is fine. But I have to use data flow to dump the data. It is looping through. Looping through. I don't want to loop through. I would like to loop through. Get one file, open the file, get the data, dump the data, get the next file, open the file, get the data, load the data. That is how I'm going to be doing. So for looping purpose, I'm going to be using data flow task. Double click on this. Now I say the source is always a flat file because all the data is available in flat file. Data, you take one file static connection. Okay, na? So you take source flat file. You take one file from Amazon as a static. So you go to Amazon folder. You can take any one of the files. This file, any one thing. You can just take it as a static one, and we'll make it to dynamic because it has to loop through the files. One file I have taken as a static. Now I wanted to dump the data. I'm not doing any transformation, simply dumping the data to this guy. Fast load, create one table, employee for each underscore destination. This is the table name, Control C, okay, mappings. That's it. If I execute this, if you execute this, even though it is looping through one by one, and whatever it is looping through, the path I am going to be getting. Okay, the path I'm going to be getting. If you understand here carefully, so what I have done, this is my Amazon folder, and I have created a for each loop. Okay, so this is my for each loop. So this is my D drive Amazon. This is source. I configured my for loop to go to this, and you have a couple of files, file number 1, file number 2, file number 2. You have different names, employee underscore us dot txt. So this file may be employee number, let us say Hyderabad dot txt. Like that, we may have lot of files. This may be, let us say, uh, Pune dot txt. Lot of files I have it. So it is going to be looping through file by file. File looping through, I wanted to have an enumerator. That is what I had given. So enum, or you can say enumerator, I have chosen for each file enumerator enum. So which is going to touch file by file, file by file. When it is looping through the files, what I have declared a variable. One variable I have declared. The variable name is called file path. Okay. Now this fellow is going to go. It is going to go and touch this file first. When you're touching this, path will be like this. D Amazon slash emp USTX. So this is the path you're going to be getting it. Okay. So the step number one, you read or loop. Okay. Read the first file or loop through the first file. Now the second one, it is going to be storing the path in this. Store the path in a variable. The path I'm going to be having. So that is what I'm going to be declared. So whatever be the fully qualified path I have, that I'm going to be keeping it here. Now, step number two, it is going to be storing the path. Now, what should I do? Step number three, I wanted to create a data flow task. Okay. So the data flow task is going to be having a source. It is going to be having a destination. What is the source? Flat file source I have. And the destination is some SQL, or you can say OLEDB destination. So this is getting the data and loading into a table. The table is called as employee underscore for each destination. The data is going to come. But now when you read one file, the file path is available in this. Now what are we going to do? This path, we are going to give it to this fellow dynamically. We had given the static connection. This you need to give it using this variable. Clear? So dynamic path has to go. So step number three, when you get the path, dynamic path needs to be given. Given to whom? To be given to this fellow. Then only this can dynamically establish a connection to this file and get all the data of this file and dump into this guy. Clear? So dynamically you will establish a connection here, dynamically you establish a connection here, dynamically you establish a connection here, because the path you're getting from where? The path you're getting from here. First you will get this file, then connection is established here. Then you will get next file, the dynamically connection established here. So here also we are going to be establishing the connections dynamically. Dynamically you need to give the connection. The fourth one is you establish a dynamic connections here as well. Clear? So then only you will be able to get the path and get the data and give it to this fellow. This guy is dumping the data file by file, file by file, file by file. Clear? Now I had given everything is fine. I have created everything is fine here. But when I go, the source is not dynamic. This is a static. This is a source. When you double click on it, this is a static. I would like to make it dynamic. Now you right click on this, go to properties, go to expression. Okay. So how did I get this? Right click on this, go to properties, go to expression, click on dot, dot, dot. Now, when you go here, there is a connection string that is dynamic path. Connection string means path only. That is dynamic. You have to get from the variable. What variable I have? When you click on this, when you expand this, a file path. Okay. Using this variable, we are going to be getting the connection. Click on OK. That's it. You will be able to see fx. Fx means a dynamic expression you have written. Clear? Right click on this, go to properties, click on expression, click on dot, 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 choose connection string here and go choose dot, 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 open the variables, drag and drop file path, click OK. OK. Now it is going through the looping one by one. It is going to be touching. This is going to be given. The same connection is established. Get the data, dump the data. Again, it is going to be looping through the second file. Second path is given. Dynamically connection is established. Get the data loaded like that. You're going to be doing one by one, one by one. Let me save and close. Okay. Let me close everything and start this. It's looping through the files one by one, one by one, one by one. Stop this. Now you go and let me select star from the, what is the file name? Employee. I think I forgot. The table name is called, what is it for each destination? This is the table name. Okay. Now, when you execute it, you're able to get Sai, Ram, Srujana, then you get complete data. The last data we have Gagan, Amal, you have your data. You check your data. So what is the last file we had taken? The last file, it is this file, right? We should be able to get Mukta and Padmaja 1000 and 1001. So now you see this. So all the file data is got loaded, and whether it is taking all the files or not, okay, you can also verify by counting the rows 1 2 3. You can open file by file and verify whether it is taken all the data or not. I wanted to know from which file it has taken the data. I wanted to get the path. So whatever be the path that is available in your variable, using a variable, I wanted to capture the data. What I do, I create, I alter table, add what called as varchar 200. So sorry, I would like to add a file path. Okay, I would like to create one column and I wanted to have the path also. This data coming from some file, right? The path also I would like to have it. So let me say delete from the table name. Clear? So this is what I would like to comment it. Now delete all the data. There is no data here. I would like to get the path, but how do you get the data? So sorry. When you go here, so I would like to get the data, the path, not from the source. Source doesn't have any path there. I wanted to have the path by using a variable. So what I'm going to be using, I'm going to be using a derived column transformation. You go, so here there is a column, but there is no file path. File path is getting from the file path. Drag and drop this. Now you create add as a new column called file path. Clear? So this data you will be able to get from this. Clear? So you will able to get, because already we know every time this path is available in this variable. If you wanted to get the data from the variable and dump into a staging dump into a destination table, so definitely you must use the derived column transformation only. Clear? Because the data is not coming from the source. The source doesn't have the path. Path is available in a variable of SSIS. So how do you read the data? So you have to use drag and drop, but unfortunately, it is telling me length is 0 and DTWSTR, it is unique code. You cannot change anything here. So as soon as I have created, it is taking a default data type, it is a length. I cannot change. These two are read only. Only I can modify the name. I can modify something here, but this I cannot modify it. But I am having a varchar here, not nvarchar. So I'm having varchar. Varchar is DTSTR. Clear? So that you have to modify. Length is 0. It is not the 0. Length is 200. So how do I modify here? I cannot modify it here. What I do, I go right click on this, say show advanced editor.
Sir, can I
Go
ask,
to,
where is it
yeah,
taking,
please, please. Huh?
where is it taking that,
Pardon?
the variable, where is
It
it
is
taking
not taking anything.
0 for?
Variable already we have declared here, right?
Yeah, that is
File
200.
path, right?
Right. But in the derived
This
column,
is what I had given.
it showed as 0,
See,
right?
when I drag and drop it, it is not taking anything. So what we're doing, it is not taking anything. It is giving you some length. Let me go here. See what is happening. I'll tell you. When you go drag and dropping, it is not taking anything. I say file path. Okay, I come here. So I drag and drop something. It is taking a 0. Why it is taking 0 also I'll tell you. This does not have any data at the moment. So if you see carefully, I did not specify any length here and there is no data also here. Have you seen this file path? So it is giving you something. It is not able to take what is the data, what is the size. I don't have any size here. But normally in SQL Server, we specify the size. In the SQL Server, we specify. Clear, Ravina? I don't have any data or I don't have any size also here. It is taking something. String could be Unicode string or non-Unicode string. It is taking non-Unicode string. So since there is no size specified here, it is taking as a 0 because there is no data as well. For example, now let me put some data and see what happens. Any questions you have? Let me put some data. I'm putting some blah blah blah, some data here. Please mute. Okay. Let me delete. I have some data in this. Now I drag and drop table. Now I go here, double click on this. I'm going to be saying file path. Now I wanted to take this. It is giving you some, the length is 45. Why? Because earlier it does not have any data here. And now it has a data of some data it is available. It is counted those numbers. It is giving you 45. Clear? So, but it is still giving you DTSTR, DTWSTR. This I would like to modify. I would like to increase this as well. Now, whether you give the data or not, we don't know, right? So it may be blank also. If it is a blank, you don't get anything here. You will be able to get a 0. Okay. Now that you need to increase. And this is also, I have to modify it. To do that, right click on this, show advanced editor, go to input and output properties. So when you go, there is a file path. When you expand it, it is telling me data type is Unicode DT str. I would like to have str. It is not 50 or 45. I would like to make it to 200. Clear? So when you go there and verify, you should be able to get a 200. So let me show you how can we change here itself. Double click, not double click. Go to right click, say show advanced editor. Go to the last one. and expand. Nothing is available. Expand. Expand file path is available. Come data type, you can change it here. Length, you can change it here. Click on OK. It is got modified. You take this value, go to mappings. Now you have a file path is coming from the variable that you can map like this. Save. Now every time you're getting the file path from this variable only. Now let me go and try to execute it. Executed. Now you see from which file you got the data. Now you see you're able to get these data from the text, this files. You are able to get, you can read the data, copy with the headers, go to Excel, and you can just copy and test it thoroughly. Whether everything is properly happening or not, you need to test by copy pasting the data thoroughly. Otherwise, we'll have a lot of issues. Now you see whether we have proper data or not. You verify now, right? You verify cleanly. Now see, this is the data I am getting from Chennai file. This is the data, only I have two rows from the US file, Obama and Peter. You can cross check with your own data. So US, you have US, right? Where is the US? So you have only, it is UK, sorry. US, you have Obama and Peter, 60 and 61. You have UK, only John K. Like that, from which file you're getting the data, that you should be able to have it very neatly. So this data I'm getting from Delhi. So Amazon Delhi folder, employee underscore Delhi, we have Mukta and Padmaja. Clear? So you can cross check by putting this file path from which file you have loaded the data. So that you can have it. Okay. So, and you can also see one more thing. Let me delete the data. I wanted to show you a file by file execution. Now, which file it is taking, I would like to see that. Okay. To do that, what I'm trying to do, before loading up the data here, I'll say right click on this, say enable data viewer. I wanted to know what data it is taking, what data it is going. I would like to see it here. So for that, you can right click on this, say disable data viewer and enable data viewer. Let us enable this and simply save, and you can run the package. When you run the package, it is telling you, Bhaskar, I am taking this file. Sairam Srujana. So this is the file I can show you. So this is the file it is taking. Srujana Sairam. Okay. Now you go here and check. Okay, that's fine. Click on this. That means the second file it is going to be taking now. Okay, the second file is Emmanuel Emanuela. So the second file is this. Right? So then you say you process this file. You click on this button. Okay. Like that also it is going to be showing file by file data. You can see in the slow motion. Okay. So two files you have got loaded. Now it is happening properly fine. Now click on the next file, next file, next file, Mukta Padmaja. Mukta Padmaja means this is gone. Now we have reached to this file. Okay. So like that, it is going to be showing what file you're loading. So you go and everything is over. You close this, everything is over. Last file has only two rows. Now you stop this, you go back and verify. So if the files are not properly picked up, how do you verify whether it is doing everything properly or not? So by putting this kind of this kind of a path, we can verify. Okay, whether everything is properly happening is or not. That is one thing. From which file this row has come in, from which file this row has taken. So you can do some kind of a testing. So later we may not include this column into the data warehousing, but in the testing, in the staging environment, you have to verify whether your package is properly working or not. Clear? Because you have tested. So this column may not be available in the destination data warehousing, but your package or testing, in different ways. and you're also putting a data enabler and testing everything it is taking. Now you disable this. That's it. You
Or
should not
a
keep that. Yeah.
question,
Hmm.
while going through the path, we realize that one of the text file we don't want to import anymore. So is there a way to stop that or detach that?
You
Like,
cannot do anything now because see, it is the development environment. You need to freeze that thing because dynamically you cannot change. It is not a simple program, right? So
hmm,
you're going to be doing based on the requirement. If the customer says I don't want to touch that, I don't want to touch it, they have to create a CR and implement the logic in the second release, not in the present one. Clear? I
we
don't
can't
want to
stop
touch
the
this. I don't want.
process or
You cannot do
discard.
anything because you have to know the loading is not done by the developers. Developers are creators of the packages. Clear? You will be
Mhm.
giving this package to the production environment. There, what happens? You don't know. Even though somebody says, I don't want to touch this, you cannot do anything there. Only you don't supply the file into the source. That you can do. But you don't say that I'll give all the files and I say I don't want to have a program now. Nothing can be done. If that is the requirement, you change it in the program itself. So you have to give, if that is the case, you have to create one more file. I'll tell you how we had implemented. In Microsoft, we were having a table. Okay. So dynamically, I will create what is a table and what file need to be picked up. So we are having source files. Okay. So we are creating one table called ID, integer, and file name. What file it has to be should pick it up. You can create a table dynamically and you can write the data there. Okay. So this is what we were doing. So what we do inside this, we insert into source files and values. What file need to be picked up? First file is this file. Okay, the complete path we were giving it, whatever be the path that you want to give. So control C. Now we can give like this. So when you have dynamically creating a table and whatever be the entry that you have, only this file is getting processed. Even though you have a lot of files, so these are we are restricting by creating one more table dynamically. We are passing. So what we are going to be doing, we are going to be having one more executes equal task here, and using that you call that. Okay, you go to that and take the first path, and that path we are dynamically passing to this, and it is going like that. Clear? So that is the requirement. So whatever you wanted to have dynamically, you can have it, but this is not the package to do that. So you need to create this kind of an approach. What files, or if you have 10 servers, I don't want to loop through the 10 servers. I wanted to go to Dubai server, America server, and India server, get the data from there. So what we were doing, we were creating a source files like that, source servers, and we are including a ID number also. Why ID number also we are including? Because whatever be the first server, it is to go to the first servers and pick the data. If you have 2, 3, 4 servers, we have a rule that you need to go to Dubai server first, India server later, and America server. That's one. If you have a sequence order, for that purpose, we are having a one order ID. Clear? So whatever be the first server, it is going to go there and pick the data from that server, and the second server, third server. And test later, I wanted to have 5 more server extra, or I would like to delete this data. So every time, this is a configuration table for us. So using a configuration table, you can do something dynamically. Clear? But not in the current one. Yeah. So that is the requirement. They have to state it clearly. So how is that they wanted to have it?
And also when looping to the file, it just goes random, right? It's not going to any order.
Yeah, it need not. Because
Okay.
looping, right? You cannot guarantee that looping is go to one by file, one file by one file. End of the day, we are not interested that. We have to get the data from all flat files, but ensure every file is processed properly or not. Clear?
Okay.
So end of the day, you may wanted to know when is this file got processed. I would like to have a insert date as well. Okay, many people will say I need date and time as well also. You can have a lot of columns. So let me go and uncomment it, create. Let me create, and whenever I'm inserting the data, I want it to have insert date and time. For that purpose also I can create insert date in the variable. So this will be from the get date. Okay, so get date is taken. Now click on OK. Now you double click on this, go to mappings. Now you should be able to have the insert date there. So when you have a derived column, all these things can be implemented. So go here, save and run the package. Now when this is getting inserted, that you will be able to know clearly. You go and try to execute this. It is inserted and so time. Clear? So you see different timings, 400 milliseconds, 500 milliseconds, like that. Okay, guys. So this is getting the data from the different flat files. If you have Excel files, same thing can be implemented. Clear? If I wanted to get the data, one file is Excel file, one is file TXT file, means it will be very difficult for you to manage it. So I strongly recommend you create two data flows. Okay, one data flow to read the data from the text files data, one data flow to read the data from Excel, XML, like that you create, and you need to have some kind of a scripting. Okay, it is looping through file by file, right? So here you need to write some kind of a small .NET code. So whatever be the path that you have it, for example, this is the path you are getting it, right? So this is the path we are getting it. So from this path, you understand whether it's a TXT file or XLS file. Because if you go here and say star.txt instead of this star.star, so it is going through loop by everything, XLS file, this file, that file, it is going to be looping. The path is going to be captured in this variable. So that variable you give it to the .NET or any some scripting. So this fellow is going to be identifying whether this file is a Excel file or XML file or raw file or this one. Okay, that you need to create and store it in a separate variable, and that variable you can link like this. Okay, so now if it is Excel file, you go double click on this, you write some expression. So you will have one variable, right? Variable called some x is equals to dot txt, then call this. Clear? So you need to write properly. Go double equals to, say it is a dot txt file, then you call this. So I don't have x, it is giving me an error. So like that you can have like this. Okay, so this is only to verify what the file is. So whether it is a txt file or whether it is xls file, some file. Okay, that kind of a thing you can identify with the help of this and supply. If some you declare a variable is called file type. If the file type is called txt, call this data flow task. If the file type is equals to xls, call one more data flow task. You can create one more data flow task. Now you're going to be having source as Excel source. Okay, and give the path dynamically here. Okay, the path will be given dynamically, and all the data you're going to be dumping from that Excel file to same table, could be different table, like that. If it is XML file and you take one more data flow task. Okay, so you give, if something this, you do something like this. If if the file type is say .xml, you call this, like that you can have. Okay, people may ask you this question, you can tell them that I never implemented, but you try to implement. You try to implement. So you take one flat file, one Excel file, one XML file, you should be able to do it. It's not very complex thing. So lots of things are available in the Google. You just go through them and you should be able to have it. But in the real time, I never implemented. You can also tell them that we never implemented, but I know how to do that. Clear? So you can say like that. So for loop and for each loop is pretty much easy. These are not very complex. Okay, guys. So if you have any questions, you're welcome.
So Bhaskar, we can use the for each loop we have all those options you showed us, right? Into derived columns and a lot of things, you know. And the for loop we can do the same, right? I mean, even though I mean we know the files, how many files, this is known, but still we can use the same type of option. Is always available there also.
Yeah.
And if I actually, for example, I know file types, I mean the file numbers, let's say 10 files, still I can use for each loop, right? I mean, I feel that that's more broader. Anytime it can change also in future, I never know. So I can use
Yeah,
it for
you can
each loop.
you can use it. You can use that. But the only thing is that if tomorrow changes, if you have some dynamic connections and all, and getting the path will be difficult. Okay, all these things we have to be carefully designed. Okay, so here I'm able to create a path easily. They're creating a path variables. We have to properly design, and we can use it. There is no harm in that. Okay, and we have a lot of extra options are available for each loop. For example, I would like to have a selection in the in a collection. So, or I would like to loop through something else. A lot of enumerators are available, so that you can get better advantages. Yeah, you can use for loop and for each loop, or you can also loop through the SQL scripting as well. Clear? The looping can be implemented not only for loop in SSIS. You can also loop through of SQL code. Okay. Or some people, what they do, if you're good in .NET, they don't use anything here. They simply will have script tasks inside. They'll be looping everything. But the problem is that tomorrow, if the .NET guy leaves, and if you join, if you're not a .NET guy, you will have a very difficulties to understand the .NET. Clear? So nobody will use for loop, for each loop and everything. Simply they implement looping also inside the .NET, because .NET also has for loop and for each loop. Clear? So scripting, within the scripting task itself, they can do all validation and checking everything. They can write it. But if you are good in the .NET, okay. But if you're not good in .NET, I strongly recommend you better go in for each loop and everything. Yeah.
Sir, I have one question. You have provided a file path in the source file, right? So
Hmm.
what if when we are getting a different files in the next day, like you have provided EMP US, Delhi, Hyderabad, and let's say tomorrow all these files will get archived or deleted, and we are getting the new files like
That's what will happen, right? So you need to, every time you're not changing the path, right? You're only changing the files. So Amazon folder
how
will be
how
as
how
it
we are
is
going to
there.
initialize the file?
You are not going to
Yes, that is
initialize
true,
them.
but you have
This is the data coming from, either they will be manually placing, or there may be some other applications pushing, right?
right.
So how do you getting the data? Could be you're placing manually. So nobody will place manually. There is some other application will be pushing the data. Maybe they're having a .NET application, Java application. Somebody will be pushing the data automatically to the server. Am I clear? If not, at least
That
you have FTP that you need to run. We have spoken about FTP. Do you remember?
yes,
So
yes.
FTP is going to run on Saturday. It is going to be downloading the data to this folder. That's it.
Can you just open that source flat file in the package?
Connections in the package.
Yeah,
Okay.
connection.
Hmm.
Just source flat file
Yeah.
and in the
Tell me.
properties.
Which properties? So this is the one you want me to open here or here? This is the
No,
one.
no, no, no. In the source flat file, we have went into the properties and we have provided Hyderabad.txt. That I wanted to see.
No, that I have removed it, right? That I had
Okay.
made it dynamic connection. So when you go properties here, and after
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I told you
that's
one
what
more
I
thing. I
wanted
don't know. I
to.
think
Yeah, that's I wanted
yeah,
to
you
confirm.
missed it. So what is happening? This one I had given dynamically.
Okay.
So if you go here, see, no flat file is there. Have you seen this? The file
Yes,
name
yes.
is path completely gone. It is not the static connection, which is a dynamic connection. Okay. There is no path. Otherwise,
Okay,
you will
got
be
it.
able to see one path there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Good. 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 Nice. Because only thing is that you need to replace the files. And now file names also can change. File names need not you may get tomorrow, for example, I'm getting now BLR. Tomorrow I may get any other file. For example, this file name is only EMP1 now. This file name is, let us say, EMP, let us say some blah, blah, blah. The file names also can change. Okay, doesn't matter now because nothing is static there. Let me delete all the data. Now I have changed the file names. So let us check whether it is going to run or not. So I have to delete all these things. Okay, so this is there. So let us verify if it is going to take all the files or is there an issue for us. So it is taking the data even the file name changes, right? Let us see what is the file name now. Now see the file names employee. Have you seen this? Now see the file names here. Have you seen this? Now file names also doesn't matter because we are looping through. This is the file name. So nothing is static, right? Everything is dynamic. The file names also can change tomorrow. Nothing will happen to you. But otherwise, if in the static connections, if the file name changes, the package will fail. If it is employee.txt, always you should expect employee.txt file because the employee table name is static connection and that will be always emp.txt, not even empl.txt. Here, file name can be anything. You can have A, B, C. You can give any name. For example, this could be A, and this could be
Can
B,
you show
C.
how it's reading the file names?
This could be D. It is not reading. That's what I'm telling you. Right? It is not reading it. We're not getting the point. It is reading
So
through
you're
this
storing the file
variable
path into the variable, right?
here. This is where, right? So what will happen now? It is going to be taking the same, but only thing is that dynamically which is taking it. D colon Amazon. You tell me slash a dot txt, right? Because I have not hard coded anywhere. So which is looping through because of our each enumerator, the same file name is taken. The A is going to go, then A's data is going to be given. That's it, nothing else. Clear? Now let us run the package. So we are not hard coding. If you hard code, then it is not going to work at all.
How's it reading it dynamically into the variable? Can you show that part, please?
This is what I told you, right? So dynamically, this is the reading, right? That's what I told you.
You are feeding something into the variable, right?
You means whom? Where is the variable? Where
So
is the data in the variable? Where is the
the file
data here?
path is the variable, yeah.
Yeah, I am
So
not
this is
reading. I am not feeding. It is a blank one.
the
Automatically, dynamically, when it is looping through. That's what I told you in the first one. When I'm reading a file, the path is stored in this dynamically. That's what I told you. I am not feeding statically anything here. Do I?
okay.
Am I
So
doing?
the
Am I
from
feeding
the
anything here?
enumerator is just somehow
Correct. Correct.
detecting the file path.
It is not detecting, it is reading the file, looping through the file. It is not detecting whether it is a.txt, b.txt. Simply it goes there and it takes one txt file. Randomly it picks up. It may picks up b.txt, c.txt or z.txt. Randomly it will pick up one file, but it is maintaining somewhere. I have read this file. 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 So that is what internally it is doing. Otherwise, you should not pick up the same file twice. That is also there, right? So all the logic is implemented inside your the enumerators. That is again a .NET code, right? So this is
Okay.
the complete thing it is handling it dynamically. So if you see, I don't have any data now. If you try to run, now see the file names. File names are completely changed now.
Okay.
You know,
I got it.
the file name is what? a.txt, b.txt, everything. Okay.
And one question, do we normally use the get date function or do we use some other kind of timestamp? Because as we're noticing the timestamp is changing as it's processing different
Let
files.
it change. What is the problem? Yeah, let it change because during that time it is processing that. Nothing will happen. Yeah. If they don't need like that, they can use in any other system time. So they can have. If you don't have, if they don't want to use this, then they can change this to something else instead of this. So
Okay.
they'll go and have some system
That is
variables.
like a system.
Start time of the package. Something will be available. Right?
Yeah.
Start time of the package. See, the problem is if it is taking 2 hours, then it will be always showing 6 o'clock in the morning, but package will be running now.
Yeah.
Okay, so then it will be not very good. Okay, yeah, guys, done. So you try to implement at least then, and whatever be the extra thing that you wanted to do it, you just do it and let me know. Right, thank you.